All right. So we got YM here on the daily. So weekly, I've marked out the premium discount level there. Um, on the weekly, we obviously have this low that could be targeted, or the CE of this wick lined up with this fair value gap. So keeping that in mind, probably just mark that out. Weekly wick. Just because that is aligned with this fair value gap. So, on the daily, though, I don't know. I don't know. It's not a super um level that I've been interested in, or like that I would normally look at. All right. Anyways, yeah, we've displaced to the downside. Not super strong, but we have created some daily fair value gaps. Um, we're just rebalancing. We're in a discount on this range here. This range did fail to displace higher, and so it would make sense for this to come back down here. We never really souped. I mean, we did soup this, but it wasn't as deep as I probably would have liked. Um, so this could easily take out this low as well. It's going to keep coming down. But yeah, so far we're just looking to see how we react here. Excuse me. We have reached below this wick and tapped down into this inversion fair value gap area, and that's a clear order block there on the daily. So 4 hour, we've just been, coming up and then coming down very cleanly. Just barely took out this low. It would make sense to soup these lows though. Bounce back up here and then reach, or maybe even up here and then reach back down to this if we're gonna get some sort of SMT reversal. We'll see though. Right now there's nothing telling me, it's just like a unclear bias, like the weekly has failed to displace, the daily has failed to displace at these highs, and we're just like in a range. So it's hard to tell unless you zoom in to get a bias. But yeah, we are in a discount. We're coming back down. We've set up relative equal lows. Um, we have a PD array here, higher time frame PD array aligned with an order block. So that could easily come down here, maybe test this new week opening gap, touching this order block, and then yeah, bouncing. We just have we have, nested order block here before we got that move higher, and then a breaker block, or sorry, a propulsion block here. So I'll just mark that out. Well, that had SMT here, by the way. That's why it's interesting. But yeah, I'm not really too confident with the analysis here on YM. It's just not as clear as you'd want it. We've displaced here. It's just a giant range that's been rebalancing. So I think we will probably trade lower. So um, the bias would obviously be shorts until this gets taken out, and then it's like, okay, now what? But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, expecting lower at least initially. And there's no reason to look for longs yet either because there's been no SMT, or I guess we'll see. And let's look at, before we go to the lower time frames, the Dow Jones. Okay. So yeah, very similar here. It hasn't come as deep. So let's see what's going on. Yeah, it's just very similar. I would expect it to probably come lower. As obviously though, this is trading higher though because the futures contract differences. Um, this level never got traded into super deep, relative equal low, relative equal high. So that's a nice one. Oops. And then there was a big gap up there. Gap up here. That's where we're at right now. So yeah, there is a gap here. That explains, why we're there. We have just a lot of stuff down here to, cause a bounce. So, and we're in a discount. So yeah, we could easily bounce, but I'd be looking for at least an initial short. We got relative equal highs on YM, so eventually it would make sense to obviously still come higher, even though we are heading higher. We haven't necessarily displaced, but we don't need to technically to keep heading higher. We just prefer that. And on the weekly, oh, on the monthly. So yeah, maybe we're reaching for a discount here on the monthly. So there you go. There's that monthly discount. So yeah, I think we'd trade a little lower at least. We had a big November, and we'd look for the candle to close. Let's see what kind of candle we're making. And towards the end of the month, yeah, I'd expect a bounce, which we've already traded, a candle range, so like, what am I looking for? Oh, so we're looking for December. So yeah, December opens up here, come up there, trade down, take out the high. So yeah, I'd expect to create some sort of wick at some point. So yeah, it's just a down candle this month. Um, who knows how big that will be, but this is the range on the month, right? All the way down into, yeah, the wick. So yeah, we've got a big month to rebalance, and that would be the discount. So yeah, I'd like us to trade lower. Definitely looking for shorts to continue that bearish candle. So yeah, we'll be looking for shorts on YM for discount on the monthly candle and look for SMT on pairs. So yeah, we've already got a lot of SMT. Things have been out of whack lately, so that's why it's been tough to read this. Man, I'm really tired. So yeah, back down into this range. Excuse me. So looking at the other indices will be kind of tricky. if we go to the 4 hour, YM is way deeper. And if we're going to trade into discount, these guys really need a dump. But if that happens, I'd expect the rotation to start to occur. So, and Russell's been coming down too. Very similar. But on the higher time frame, there's just no SMT besides just all these internal range lows. So it's just, yeah, it's not making a ton of sense. We had NASDAQ and ES continue to make higher highs while we've been making lower lows this whole time. So that, to me, that means these guys could easily just be distributing. Well, the thesis is this is just a giant rotational top. So that makes a ton of sense. Tons and tons of SMT. And if we continue that same character that we've seen when YM really goes down, and then these guys are typically very delayed, and that's exactly what's happening on even the higher time frame, then yeah, I would expect like a big move, pretty big move down. But that's the problem is, you know, maybe not a big move, but at least in NASDAQ, like a very strong move down versus the others. So we've got higher high, even a higher high, and this is where things have shifted. Alright, we gotta go back to the analysis. So yeah, 4 hour, we've got inverse fair value gaps basically, or fair value gaps basically everywhere that we have a daily. So we got one here. Whoops. Whoa. Where is the button, dude? Dude, how do I get out of here? Whoa. Alright. Anyways. Whoa, what the hell happened to my daily? Oh, we're on a different chart. Okay, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I'd expect us to, maybe create a weekly profile where maybe we come up here, then we come up here, then we come up there, then we come up there, something like that. Not this whole week, but we'll see what happens on the midnight level on Monday. But seems like this wants to get tapped into, whether we're going to come up first and then tap into it, or just, go straight down and then come back up. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we'd want to see. It would make sense to come up here and then continue that move down. So maybe like a Tuesday, Wednesday, high week, and then a reversal type profile, and then something similar next week. down, oops, down, up, down. So, but yeah, doesn't really, something like that. And then maybe back up. We'll see what happens. But yeah, shorter time frame, yeah, it's just like, okay, where would we head to, now? 1 hour, this has all been balanced. So if we bounced, we tapped into this and then bounced, I would expect at least these highs, if not most likely up and back up into here. 15-minute, yeah, relative equal highs up into this daily fair value gap. So that's definitely a level of interest. So I'm marking an alert there. And then same thing with this high, totally aligns with lots of liquidity here with these relative equal lows. Let's make this actually a bit thicker. Yeah. So these are definitely the areas of interest I'd be looking for, especially this one. Um, maybe we bounce here, trap, come up to here. Wow, this is really clean too. Equal lows all inside of there. So yeah, if we just gap up into the open session, then yeah, I would expect probably this one to be taken, and then lower, and then all the way back up, and then maybe lower again. We'll see what happens. But if we create some sort of higher time frame SMT down here, that'd be cool. We'd want to see relative strength start to show up in the Dow versus the indices. So maybe that would look something like this, where these guys come up and they really start to bleed off, and then YM actually starts to hold strong, and then we enter some sort of well, if we enter down into here while these guys have like made some lower low SMT and then we bounce, I probably wouldn't just get long into here until we had already proven some sort of rotation is happening. So yeah, very tricky. If anything, I wouldn't be looking for SMT with these guys. I'd probably prefer to trade Russell SMT with the Dow. So I'd want the Dow to make a lower low into this range while Russell creates a higher low. So that's the only idea that makes really clear sense to me using YM. Only logical play is a higher time frame SMT long with RTY, since others are pretty distangled or whatever the word is. What is the word for that? Decoupled. Other than that, then yeah, I would just look for ES and NASDAQ trades. But even that, it's like, man, what's going on, SMT here, SMT there. Yeah, the only thing that makes sense is to like short ES down into this soup, and then, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, going to Russell monthly. Ooh. So yeah, it's very similar to the Dow. We are rebalancing the prior month range. We have entered into a discount. Wow, perfectly. But if we use the weekly opens and closes, then we haven't. So I think this could easily head lower, though it already has met some criteria there. On the weekly, we have started to form some sort of displacement. I don't think that that's going to hold. I think it's likely we could, open, head up, come lower, create that SMT we're looking for into the wick or something, and then bounce. because we've already tapped into this pool of liquidity. I would actually expect this to hold. So that's pretty clear to me. Very clear soup here, respecting the inefficiency. So if anything, I'll be watching how we interact with this wick. Um, Weekly soup wick CE. So yeah, I really like that level there. If we create SMT with the Dow somehow. Um, Going back to the weekly, if we just look at last week's daily range, or weekly weekly range. Let's just make it somewhat seeable. That lines up with that daily fair value gap. And so yeah, that's pretty clean there. Definitely going to trade into that at some point. It's just very clean, especially since it's just like in this web of inefficiencies. Um, yeah, and I would expect this, since we've came so low, I would expect this low to be taken, and then yeah, that lines up with this whole idea of that area. Oh, wait, okay. Daily, so yeah, we've got the daily bearish fair value gap. We've got all this stuff that's been filled. This has been filled. We've got an inversion fair value gap down here, which is what we've just tapped into. And we're bouncing. So, and that lines up with probably the 4-hour, yeah, little order block there, propulsion block. Wow, that would have been so clean on the daily if you had caught that. Let's see. If you risked that, just risked the high, or targeted the high, which probably would have targeted that for our long-term trade. So yeah, I mean, that looks pretty clean. Um, we're bouncing here, probably retrace back up into the discount or premium of the range. We probably head up into here maybe, and then we could do whatever in here, but come up into here, but then come down into there for some sort of big reversal. We'll see. Be pretty interesting to see that take this low out. Whoa, what the heck? That's cool, but not cool. All right. So yeah, 4-hour, we do have some inefficiencies here, but I just think that we're definitely going to trade at least up into here at some point. I wouldn't really take a short into here unless there was SMT. So, but it makes sense that we'd come up into here, maybe up into here just to take out this pool of liquidity. We'll see. So yeah, Russell, Queen, premium level with daily and we see. Um, needs SMT with YM to get long, so watch for simple shorts on YM and RTY pairs. Probably Russell though. So yeah, this was an old pool of liquidity that we're sweeping that never really got tapped into. So yeah, tap into that, come back up into here to scoop up some more orders because we need it to get that final manipulation lower, is what I'm thinking. And we'll be watching this level here, Wick CE there, take out all of these lows, maybe YM takes out the actual low. If we go back to YM and we go to the monthly, I mean, it can definitely trade way lower than the discount, you know. So going to the daily, so there's the discount range. For this to come all the way down here would make total sense. You know, we got a nice inverse area. This never got fully traded down into down here. Maybe on the weekly. Yeah. So yeah, we got a weekly. I actually like it. It's more green. So yeah, weekly inefficiency. And that's this wick never traded down into that. I was waiting for that to happen and never did on this week. So yeah, I do kind of like this idea of YM sweeping out these little lows here. You know, these two lows, creating SMT with RTY. But we'll see. I mean, it could easily bounce. I mean, this was a nice. I just don't like how this never tapped into anything cleaner. So if we go here, never, yeah, never reached a discount on in this order block. So did it reach a discount here? It did on if you use this, but if you use this candle body, oh, I guess it did. Okay. All right, but yeah, I mean, I think it would definitely want to come lower. There's just no super clean levels here, but we'll see. Maybe what we'll be looking for is just that's just not as clean. Never mind. Yeah, I'm just not too sure. I'm gonna wait for something else to happen with the RTY, YM stuff. I just think that it's got to hold into here to make sense. It could easily soup this lower, but at that point, it's like, holy cow, like, if it's gonna come lower than this, I don't know, this just came so low already. I mean, and we did, that is a nice little soup there. Yeah, so we'll just be looking for longs on the SMT, but right now, shorts. That's the obvious play. Yeah, that's basically it. On the smaller time frame, we'll see what happens. We've definitely reached an area where we could bounce short term. Tapping down into this propulsion block. So if we go to YM, there's SMT there now. So you know, there is some SMT, but it's like very nuanced. So let's see. And there was no SMT. Yeah, there was no SMT there on the higher time frame. You just had this big low. So yeah, I do think I'm right about that. I think that this does want to come pretty deep, and I'd want to see Russell hold here. that would make sense because then we'd start to get like a big sell-off here in NASDAQ. And then on like once we start to get a little bit of a bounce, maybe we really bounce with Russell. So yeah, we do have SMT. You know, this was a very clear level here, or not right there, but it's just so small of a time frame that yeah, it's kind of tough. There was, I'm pretty sure there was a nice move, news that level there though. So, so we'll align all this with time, obviously. We've got a bunch of red folders, nothing to get super detailed yet. We're just looking at the higher time. Okay. Looking at NASDAQ. Wow, we got a lot to update here. Just a lot of crap on here, man. So much crap. I'm gonna delete this stupid wedge. Alright, we've got a monthly fair value gap here. Very clearly being created. Oops. So yeah, that's very very strong there. It has displaced higher. We don't need a lot of these levels. Probably not a lot of these. So yeah, nice monthly fair value gap formed. Displacing higher so far on the monthly. Really big. Oh, this is a nice level there. So we got a weekly fair value gap here. Man, I need these more green. Oops. So that looks pretty clean because we've got this old high. We're gonna delete that, yeah. And then we'll just draw this line. So, just a lot of crap on here, man. Alright. Okay, that's cleaned up a bit. So yeah, we've got the weekly fair value gap here aligned with a really nice pool of liquidity. So this is the area of interest that I've been wanting to see on something. So very nice pool of liquidity. That is just too obvious to not notice. Relative to equal high lows. All right. But yeah, nothing else here on the daily or the weekly. Nice big wick there. Don't really care about it. Haven't displaced higher, so yeah, I'd be looking for some sort of short on NASDAQ. I really like this pool of liquidity. We had one here that got traded into for the weekly trade there. So I'm actually just gonna remark that out just for reference. That's on the 4 hour. On the daily, yeah, we just have this old soup. No displacement here until you go to the 4 hour. We do have one here, and we did get one here, and it held nicely here. So we didn't really reach into a discount on this range, unless you use the soup, or unless you just use the breakout. So technically it is there, but and then this one is failing very obviously here. No shifts, but yeah, very obvious pool of liquidity down here, um, getting extended. We did displace very strongly there on that sell-off. It's looking pretty weak here. Nice little pool of liquidity here that we're, working it out. so it makes sense. So I'm just gonna mark that just because it is kind of clean. We'll put that right. Just because it lines up just too nicely. So yeah, we're really souping up all of this. 15 minute, oops, let's go to 1 hour. Oh, that was the one. 15 minute, yeah, big displacement down. Um, Nothing here on this move, but on that 1 hour, yeah, we did have that inefficiency here. And we didn't respect it, but it is still there kind of on the 15 minute. And we did close above it, but and then we displaced below it on the 15 minute. We came down very sharp down into this big gap down. Why is this not working? So we've got this big gap aligned with, wait, this is the gap, okay. We already marked out the gap. If we go to the daily, what does that look like? Yeah, we got the big old gap marked out there. Oh, 24-hour chart though. Wait a second, what's happening? Okay, no, yeah, that's correct. And then this respected that, so it makes sense we bounced. But I do think this probably wants to head lower. So I don't think this, I think this will be a tricky area, but I honestly, part of me just thinks it's just gonna just displace through that. And then literally like close down below this and then open with a huge week again. So I'm expecting some volatility here. Um, 15 minute, not super clear for a setup. We just had a very sharp move down, had some displacement. Maybe if we zoom in, there's more clarity there. Not really. We're not really coming into an area. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're using this old high as a level, so it would make sense to soup that. So we could easily soup back above this, but on a higher time frame, there's just no clarity there except tiny inefficiency here on the 1 minute or on the 15 minute. 15 minute. So there's a little one there. Just gonna turn it darker red so that you can see it better. Oh, there we go. So yeah, there is a 15-minute fair value gap there. It makes sense to come and sweep all of this. But right now we have shifted there. Not the cleanest looking setup so far. You know, we've accumulated below this, distributed, sharply came back down, sort of a shift there, coming back and um, accumulating shorts here along this order block. I mean, yeah, this is the order block to be looking at. And if we use the yeah. So yeah, I mean, it just looks like we're teeing off this order block. We'll see what happens though. None of this is like my type of trading. We came to the CE of the gap, bounced, displaced higher, and now we're coming lower. So right now the only obvious draw is like, okay, higher and then lower at some point. But yeah, I still like this level down here. Kind of a tough one to trade because of the way things are moving. Everything's decoupled. So yeah, pretty tricky on NASDAQ, but the higher time frame, cool. lower is very obvious. So I'll just be so yeah, I do want to catch a short. This just isn't enough for me. If you go to the hourly though, it is it is a lot cleaner on that fair value gap or the order block, I mean on the 4 hour. Yeah, just seems like I don't want to sweep that though. So could easily head back down from now on. So yeah, I just want to look for a short. Everything is pretty bearish on the flow. Actually, no, it's very contradicting. But it looks like they're definitely buying calls, or sorry, buying puts, selling calls. And then on the tide is hmm, weird. Very weird read on the flow on the SPY. Pretty bearish flow on Qs too. But then you go to the holdings and they're bullish. But they're not that bullish. Yeah. Kind of like, I don't know, this looks like it could easily come lower and then set up another short. So nothing right now to really key off of, though. I do kind of like this little level here. So maybe what happens is we soup it to tag this level again, you know. So yeah, that's about it for NASDAQ. Monthly on ES is actually starting to turn to the downside. We've got quite the candle here to rebalance. Lots of crap down here. We'll deal with that later. All right, here we go. Now we can really clean up a lot of this junk. Okay, weekly, no inefficiencies here. Oh, besides this one? Oops. So yeah, there is a weekly inefficiency here. Nice. And it's right between the two new week opening gaps. That's pretty clean. So yeah, weekly fair value gap there. And right at the CE of those two new week opening gaps. That is just so clean, man. Very clean level there. With some lows, I guess, in there. Daily looks kind of bearish. Nothing super clean here on the daily. Just very choppy. Lots of wikis. um, yeah. CE between two weekly inefficiencies. So daily there was a little inefficiency there, but yeah. So far it looks like it's respecting the bearish um, stuff. There is a relative equal low here. So there's a nice level there. Um, small shift there. This is quite the pool of liquidity. So I think this level is going to be very strong. We've got lots of old highs here lined up with these ones. So I really think this is going to sweep pretty deep. Not sure how deep we'll go, but could easily come to this new week opening gap there. So far, we do have a inefficiency here. But it's only a 4-hour. And here's a nice little gap up there. We got some little relative equal highs here. And yeah, I mean, eventually I think we would come higher. And then yeah, I know we have SMT here. So yeah, quite the pool of liquidity down here. Yeah, I'd expect us to take out these equal lows. I think this is a really strong level there. It may even bounce literally right there. Just super clean. ES is a oops. Yeah, so new NWOG, CE, fair value gap CE, very clean. Pool of liquidity below that. Very high probability area down here. It doesn't even need to trade down here, but seems like it would. I think it would want to take out these lows. It's at least going to take out this low. It could bounce into this old new week opening gap though. Does not need to trade down into there. It may not even reach that. So we'll be looking for longs on this soup here. And we got a nice little draw on liquidity, at least short term higher. Yeah, but yeah, looking for shorts into this is the very obvious thing right now. So looking for shorts, look for shorts primarily for those SPY lows to be taken. So yeah, I'd really want to dive into this price action here and see where we're going to soup to delivered lower. So I'm thinking we will just bounce from here and then create some sort of short setup. On the Qs though, we didn't really look at this. We do have a nice pool of liquidity there too. Did I? Oh no, that's the higher time frame one, is it? Is it? Yeah, I mean this is a nice pool down here for Nasdaq, but on the higher time frame, it does look like it would want to come down there. All right. Anyways, very nice draw on liquidity lower here, so I'd be just be looking for things to align here for a short. I like this displacement here. I like that there's SMT already. Um, we would just have to zoom in and see what. Ooh, okay, yeah, there we go. So very clean highs here to soup. That is super obvious. And yeah, hopefully we come back up into here, get that move down. So I'll be looking for a short here in ES, maybe even up here too. Very, very clean. So yeah, we would just be looking here now for a setup. And all right. Yeah, we just have SMT everywhere, dude. Everywhere. Into here, and now we both came lower. So we've already taken out that high. So yeah, if Nasdaq comes up into here, takes out these highs, while ES is down into here, into the CE of this range, souping something in here, yeah, that'd be good enough for me to get short. Could come all the way back up into here. Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna line that up. I wouldn't want to just short blindly. We need to look at this deeper. Because there was an SMT here with NASDAQ. So SMT, it's already delivered. So we could already be heading down. That's the thing. So we'll see. Initially, yeah, look for short. But if we deliver here and it's not deep, then yeah, look for a short here, boom, all the way back down again. So yeah, there's level of interest. We got levels of interest on everything basically now. We're still making lower lows on YM. While these guys make higher highs. So that still makes me think this is going to bounce. Because every time we do it, it basically does it. Or maybe it's the reverse. Maybe we'd want to see YM make the higher low. Yeah. I wonder if there's any situation that happened here. From this low, we made the lower low. Oops. I need to see NASDAQ. Here. Okay, yeah. Here was where we made a higher low. And then you can see that very, very much delivered the long. So I'd want to see YM create a short-term SMT, relative strength SMT, into a low, and then boom, that'd be the long for these guys into this. So we're just going to keep noting that in my notes. So YM higher low versus ES and NQ works for long side trades to pull into. Nice, that is very clear. I'm looking for something very clear now. It's very specific. Yeah, that's everything besides gold and silver. These guys just, it's just, I've already missed it. We had an SMT up into here, continued lower lows, and now we've had a bullish SMT. So yeah, maybe look for maybe a long, but oh, there is SMT here. Okay, let's look real quick. So yeah, we got the nice move here. Why are these so off, dude? I keep redrawing these. So off. It's unbelievable. This is supposed to be all the way up there. Okay, very obvious soup on gold. Huge displacement. We now have weakness in silver into this. This is not making much sense. So yeah, SMT, that's what we want to see here. Boom, boom, bang. And then now silver, who was initially stronger here, got this sharper move down, taking out this range. So you could actually be looking for longs here, I think. You could have bought the close there. There's even SMT here on this range. So we made the low here. Nice breaker blocks, dude. Breaker blocks work so well. Or propulsion blocks. I just need to learn how to use them. All right. So yeah, we've had SMT into here, into this area, into silver. Um, we look for just a bounce to rebalance some of this. Yeah, probably back up into here. I like that it's taking out this level here, bouncing right into the new week opening gap. Holy, massive wick there. So yeah, we had SMT there. The delivery is definitely down here for both of them. I would expect gold to probably actually be weaker. But now we've created a SMT here. Let's just mark that here. Just to clear it up. And this was an old SMT area, dude. Holy cow. Holy cow. And we're both inside of, some sort of old order block and a new week opening gap. Old new week opening gap there. And then if we look into this area, gold can come all the way down into this low. I just wish there was a more obvious pool of liquidity than just buying a SMT down into the lows. That's just not enough. Okay, a higher time frame idea would be buy this order block. There is that, it does make sense to bounce here, but the only thing we don't have relative equal lows or anything. So I would want to see more here. I like this area, but I'd want to see some sort of pool of liquidity form and align that with news. So lining that idea up with gold and silver. Gold and silver, I like the bullish SMT we have and the area of interest, but the smaller frame just doesn't have the structure yet, and I would like a nice pool to form and soup into news or an open to get into some sort of long. Otherwise, wait for another short op. Yeah, so I wouldn't want to get short unless we really, formed something really nice. Obviously, on the higher time frame, there's nothing yet. But up into here on gold, we do have some sort of highs here lined up with a new week opening gap. This is a nice pool of liquidity here. So, man, click on it. So yeah, nice little pool of liquidity here on gold. I'm gonna set an alert there. And nothing really here on silver besides the old highs here. So maybe set an alert there. But yeah, just gonna have to watch it. Nothing else to really note there. And then crypto, we're just gonna be monitoring that on my own. Not really gonna create a game plan for that. Uh, yeah, and then I'll post these in my little Discord. All right, cool. All right, that is the plan. Definitely gonna wait for Monday to get some more price action to develop these ideas. Looking into the news really quick. Right there. Next week, or this week, I guess, we've got PMI after the open, so that'll be nice. We do have an orange folder though at the news drive, so I think that could actually form the entry for the delivery at the open. So keeping an open mind to that. We got 8:30 news on Tuesday, and then we got late PM news on Wednesday, FOMC. So we got PMI Monday, core retail sales Tuesday, FOMC Fed funds rate Wednesday. That's usually a tough one to trade, honestly, for me, just because it usually you have to trade right into the morning for a small range. But Thursday is GDP. So that watching for the PM session, I might be able to get in some really good options trades on Thursday, or sorry, Wednesday close. So keeping a mind to that. And then Friday we got PCE in the morning too. So everything's in the morning besides, no, everything's in the morning besides Wednesday. Yep. So definitely gonna look every single day. There should be a trade, and then a PM session trade on Wednesday. So really, really good week to be focused and sleep good and do all that stuff. So yeah, a lot happening this week, and we'll have to keep updating my plans here, and we'll go from there. All right, adios.